Sergei Millian, the source behind anti-Trump Steele dossier, offered Papadopoulos $30K a month to be his Trump White House operative, by Jim Hoff for the GatewayPundit.com. Former Trump campaign volunteer George Papadopoulos pleaded guilty for making false statements to the FBI agents. Papadopoulos was a low-level volunteer who was approached by deep state informant Stefan Halper in London. Here is a copy of the Papadopoulos indictment that was filed back on October 5th, 2017. George Papadopoulos was in contact with Sergei Millian, who was the Steele source for the anti-Trump dossier, according to Reddit contributor Gemini C. From the Statement of Offense 1/10 through 11 of April, George Papadopoulos emails the Russian female contact trying to set up a foreign policy trip, which she agrees to eagerly. April 26, George Papadopoulos meets Russian woman who tells him they can arrange a Putin-Trump meeting and have dirt on Hillary Clinton, or I should say Rotten Clinton. The Russians have another go on June 9th, the Trump Jr. sting. A Russian woman promises dirt on HRC, but never delivers. Sound familiar? 4, and here's an interesting fact. George Papadopoulos had another contact he never disclosed, Sergei Millian. And from an anti-Trump Twitter, Louis Mensch, who connects the two on August 15, 2017, but doesn't quite get the significance. George Papadopoulos, who repeatedly tried to set up a Putin-Trump meeting, per the Washington Post, is tied to Sergei Millian. Yes, Millian of Steele dossier fame. See Sergei Millian. Sergei Millian is one of 240 George Papadopoulos Facebook's friends. Millian told several people that during the campaign and presidential transition he was in touch with George Papadopoulos, a campaign foreign policy advisor, according to a person familiar with the matter. Millian is among Papadopoulos' nearly 240 Facebook friends. Michael Weiss here. Papadopoulos was told Russia had breached Clinton correspondence by Moscow-connected academic P's chum, Papadopoulos' chum, Millian, was a Steele source. That was in October of 2017. Andrew Weiss, I'd forgotten this. George Papadopoulos, who repeatedly tried to set up a Putin-Trump meeting, per the Washington Post, is tied to Sergei Millian. This was August 15, 2017. In January 2017, ABC News identifies Sergei Millian as the key source of the Fusion GPS anti-Trump dossier. Let's take a little listen to this. Oh, so he's the source of the most salacious claims made in the uncorroborated dossier. Yeah.
What we do is we help Russian-American businessmen to work together, to do business together, to do transactions together.
And among the businessmen you work with is Donald Trump.
Yes, correct.
How did you meet Mr. Trump?
Some members of his team came to visit our event in Atlanta, Georgia, that we hosted. It was a diplomatic reception with some of the diplomats. And they asked me to come meet Donald Trump in Miami. So I received an invitation to meet with him in the Gulfstream horse racing event. So we stayed in his private seat.
So you went to his private suite at the racetrack.
That's correct.
And why did Mr. Trump want your help?
Because Trump team, they realized that we have a lot of connection with Russian investors, and they noticed that we bring a lot of investors from Russia.
And they wanted your connection with the Russian
And
investors.
they needed my assistance, yes, to sell properties and sell some of the assets to Russian investors.
So you became the official broker for Donald Trump?
I became the official broker for Trump Hollywood.
And how many units did you sell?
That's because we cannot disclose the financials, and we have in fact signed that we cannot disclose that, but a nice percentage of all the units sold, out of 200 units, they were sold to Russians.
To Russians?
Yes.
So the Russian money was heavily invested?
Absolutely.
And have there been other projects too?
That some of my colleagues, they were involved in some other projects, but overall Trump has done significant business with Russians, and the level of business amounts to hundreds of millions of dollars that he received as a result of interaction with Russian businessmen.
Hundreds of millions of dollars from Russian businessmen?
Correct.
So he likes Russia because there's money to be made there?
He likes Russia because he likes beautiful Russian ladies and he likes talking to them, of course, and he likes to be able to make a lot of money with Russians. Yes, correct.
Are you involved in any way with Russian intelligence agencies?
Absolutely no.
Wow, that's a lie.
Of course.
What do you say?
So I'm not involved.
Not involved? Do you ever report back to them?
Absolutely no.
Do they ever ask you questions, or?
No.
But you have friends inside the government, don't you?
Of course.
Do they ever ask you what's going on in American politics?
Yes. Because usually if I meet top people in the Russian government, they invite me, let's say, to Kremlin for the reception. So of course I have a chance to talk to some presidential advisors and some of the top people.
But you're saying you're not a Russian spy.
Of course not.
You become an American citizen?
Yes.
And what do you think is your ultimate goal in the U.S. in terms of U.S.-Russia relationships?
I'm one of those very few people who have insider knowledge of Kremlin politics, who have ability to understand the Russian mentality, and who have been able to successfully integrate in American society. And I believe that my knowledge and insider information and connections and what I have done so far with doing business deals with Russians could translate into great benefits for the American administration, because I can help direct them to the way where they can have a very successful relationship, and what is very important, will never face a nuclear winter.
Well, as Chuck Ross from the Daily Caller reported on Wednesday, that Sergei Millian, the source of the anti-Trump Steele dossier, offered George Papadopoulos $30,000 a month to work as a consultant, meaning spy, in the Trump White House. Mangiante also said that Papadopoulos and Millian met multiple times in Chicago and New York City before the election. In one encounter in Chicago, Millian offered Papadopoulos a substantial sum of money as part of an energy-related business deal. The catch was that Millian said Papadopoulos would have to remain in the Trump administration while carrying out the work. The business offer has been previously reported by the New York Times and NBC News. However, Mangiante is providing new details, saying that Millian offered Papadopoulos $30,000 a month to work as a consultant while with Trump. So, what do we make of this? I mean, this guy was it was a setup from the get-go, since he's the key source in the Fusion GPS anti-Trump dossier. So these people were working for the DNC. It's so obvious. And what he was saying tries to incriminate Trump. Now, and why would Papadopoulos be offered that kind of money? You know what I'm saying? So this is another key factor here that has come out now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.